All right, let's talk about debt restructuring. This is the number one place we can find money. But the way we have this course structured is that Module 1 was all about easy wins.
Yeah, this one isn't easy at all.
No, it could take years. Ask me how I know.
And there's lots of steps, and you really have to have a mind shift, Kathleen, which is difficult for a lot of people. You have to change the way that you think about debt, which means that you have to ask yourself this question right here. What is your debt strategy? And it's funny because lots of people have debt, right? Most people have debt. Very few people actually have a debt strategy. And yet if you went into corporate America and you asked a business, do they have debt or do they have a debt strategy? They all have a debt strategy. When they take out debt, it's very strategic. So let's talk about how to very easily give yourself a debt strategy. Lay out all your debt. In fact, we've given you a place to do that on a worksheet below this video, and you'll see on that list, you list the debt name, the amount that you owe, and the interest rate, all of which are going to be very important when you evaluate your strategy. But the concept is once you have your numbers in front of you, then, and science has proven this over and over, once you lay those numbers out, your subconscious brain starts working on ideas. And even if, Kathleen, an idea doesn't come to you right now, an idea in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep, which I know sleep is great when you have a little young lady at home like you do, that your subconscious brain goes wild.
Also, debt is just a major problem and it's getting bigger. According to the New York Times, it's not just student loans and credit cards anymore that are a problem. Defaults have crept up in auto loans, one of the few sectors in which lenders were willing to extend credit to subprime borrowers after 2008.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's getting tougher. So now's the time to give yourself a debt strategy. So let's jump in and talk about how to do it. Here are the two ways people pay down debt. They use either the debt snowball or the debt avalanche. You paid down a lot of debt, Kathleen. Which one did you use?
Both. So the snowball is the Dave Ramsey thing, where I feel like we've talked about this so many times, but one more time, quickly. You pay off your lowest debt first so that you can snowball that payment into the next lowest debt. And it's a great way to start because it gives you a quick win, even though a lot of times your lowest interest and your lowest balance are the same. So it doesn't make mathematical sense to pay off the lowest debt first. But if you got yourself into debt, you probably have a lot of yucky feelings about it. And it's awesome to feel like, okay, I used to have 4 credit cards that were nearly maxed out, and now I only have 3. But you transition quickly into the debt avalanche where you rearrange your debt by the amount of interest you're paying so that you pay off the highest interest first, which usually ends you with just your mortgage after you're done with everything else.
What ends up happening here, most of the time for me too, is exactly the same. We would start with the snowball like you did. Once we had a few wins and people were motivated to keep going, we went to the avalanche. Studies show that even though the avalanche gives you more bang for your buck if you follow through, more people follow through with the snowball, which is why it's a great place to start. Let's take these 2 ideas and let's turn them into a plan. Here we have 5 different types of loans on the screen in front of you. And you'll notice that if we're using the debt snowball method, we are going to pay off the one that's whatever one's the smallest. So let's say that we have a car loan that we've got $300 left on. Even though it's 7%, we'll pay that one first. But using the avalanche, we're going to attack that credit card because it's at 17% first. So regardless of which one we do, there's lots of different things we can do with our debt strategy. So I want to walk through a bunch of these. I'm going to start off just with the credit card itself. Number 1 is with the credit card, the biggest problem that we have is that using the credit card is the problem, not that interest rate. So how you handle your money and living a cash-only lifestyle is the key here, not the 17%. So before you go trying to pay off the credit cards, make sure that you give yourself a chance to win by stopping using the credit card. Put it on ice in your freezer. If you want something more permanent, cut the thing up. Don't take it out of your wallet. Don't even put it in your wallet. Put it someplace where you're not going to use it except for an emergency. The credit card, that's the big problem there.
All that is great. I hid my credit cards from myself, but don't make the same mistake I did. Don't close them.
Right.
Keep credit cards open. If you're anything like me, I closed the credit card account that I had when I turned 18. And so it was my longest credit, and I just closed it because I was done. I said I didn't care. in retrospect, I should have cared.
Yeah, because your credit changed significantly then, because length of time that you have open credit really counts a ton on your credit score. And for a lot of these things that we're doing, we are going to need your credit score. So first, we'll send you to a place like Credit Sesame, who we like. John Alzheimer from Credit Sesame has been on the show. And Gene Chatsky is also a person who is with Credit Sesame. So we'll send you to stackingbenjamins.com/Credit Sesame, and you'll be able to look at your credit for free. And you'll also be able to clean up some line items to make sure that your credit is where it is. Before you do what we're going to tell you to do, one of the things you can do is a consolidation loan. Won't save you a ton of money on interest, but what it will do is it'll take the credit card and wipe out that and make sure that you get rid of the credit card debt in favor of just a structured monthly payment with all your credit cards. If you have a bunch of different credit cards, a consolidation loan might have a lower payment every month, which frees up cash flow, allowing you to apply more money every month to the debt itself. So that's a positive there. The second thing you can do are some of these balance transfer cards. Balance transfer cards will give you a 0% interest rate for maybe 6, 12, 18 months. At the end of that time, then it'll go back up to a high interest rate. So then you'll get another 0% card trying to eliminate your debt while making sure that you have 0%. The thing that I don't like about either one of those strategies, Kathleen, you get a consolidation loan, you don't close the credit card, you end up in credit card debt and have a consolidation loan. Or you do the 0% credit card, you transfer the money over, but then you spend money on the first card. You have to, at some point, change that symptom first.
I think that's one of the big things, the big differences between personal debt and business debt. Because you talk to any CFO, and I've never talked to a CFO, so take my advice with a grain of salt. But talk to anybody who has a company and has company debt. They don't have any baggage about it. It's debt. It's how business is done. But with our personal lives, it's so important, so important to understand how you got into credit card debt in the first place, why you got into credit card debt in the first place. You have to believe that you'll never get back into credit card debt. No, not never, ever again. And then you can switch back into thinking about it like a company.
Yeah, you got to remove the emotion from it like a company would. And if you think about yourself as a company, I think that helps you get rid of that emotion. Let's look at the next couple, the mortgage and the home equity line of credit. Certainly, we could roll that credit card debt into a mortgage or a home equity line. That'll make the debt probably tax deductible. Talk to your tax people about whether it is for you. Also, it lowers the interest rate a ton. Notice that mortgage is at 6%, and that's even a high interest rate compared to today for a lot of people. So you can lower the interest rate, make it maybe tax deductible, and because you're paying that debt over a long period of time, lowers the payment by a lot, meaning you can then pay on your debt much more quickly with a mortgage or a home equity line. Once again, if you bought hamburgers on the credit card and then you roll it into your mortgage and you don't pay the bill, a hamburger might cause you to lose your house, and you don't want that to happen. Debt against your house is secured debt, meaning if you don't pay it off, you're going to be in big trouble. You could lose your home. The stakes get higher when you involve a home equity line of credit, Kathleen, or a mortgage, and we definitely don't. We need people to understand that this isn't just an interest rate game. There's something attached to the other end.
Yeah. If you're going to treat your finances like a company, don't go for like the Enron of personal finance.
Right. Car loans and student loans. We can refinance student loans. Head to stackingbenjamins.com/magnify money to look at that. Also for those balance transfer credit cards and for car loans. We can look at those differently though. I know people that started up a fund to begin paying cash for their cars from now on. So they made their car loan, but they made an extra payment that went into the next car. So they didn't have to take a car loan out for the car. When this one dies, they pay cash for the next car, avoiding that 7% altogether. With student loans, 9% might be a very high interest rate. So a place like Magnify Money, you'll be able to look at all your different choices there and make a much better decision about your student loans. Those are just some of the strategies that you can use. Use your mortgage, use the home equity loan, use a consolidation loan, 0% cards. Another place I mentioned using Magnify Money, check out your credit union. Credit unions often have lower rates than banks do because they don't have shareholders that they have to appease. Instead, they just have to make sure their members are happy, who are people that use the credit union products. When you save through a credit union, you're actually an owner of the credit union, and that's an important distinction. So there it is. Our question to you then, is what is your debt strategy? This is the time to get your debt in order, and you'll save more money here than any place else, but it's going to take time. And for that reason, this is a great place to stop, fill out the worksheet that we've attached below this video, and go on the attack with your debt before you start the next module, which is household expenses.